Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are taking your English from, basic everyday descriptions straight to native level mastery. How? By unlocking the absolute advanced power of superlatives. If you are ready to communicate with serious precision and impact, well, you are in exactly the right place. We've got a packed communication toolkit today with 4 distinct levels to conquer. We'll start by emphasizing extreme superlatives. Then we'll connect them to life experiences, master the art of omission, and finally, we'll look at comparing actions with adverbs. All right, let's dive right into level 1, emphasizing extreme superlatives, to add some real punch to your descriptions. So think about the difference between saying someone is the most talented musician versus saying they are by far the most talented musician. Adding those 2 little words, by far, doesn't just state a basic fact. It emphatically ends the debate, right? It takes your statement from a simple opinion to an absolute, undeniable truth with total native fluency. To pull this off, there are 4 essential modifiers you can place directly before a superlative. We have by far, easily, one of the followed by a plural noun, and finally, precise rankings like the second or the third. Mastering these 4 specific tweaks is a surefire way to make your English sound so much more sophisticated. Let's see one in action. Imagine delivering this sentence with some dramatic corporate flair. That is easily the worst decision the company has ever made. Using easily here completely amplifies how extreme this terrible decision was. You're not just saying it was a bad choice, you are literally saying there is zero competition for how awful it was. Now here is an absolutely crucial grammatical mechanic to remember. Whenever you use one of the, it absolutely must be followed by a plural noun. For example, New York is one of the most exciting cities in the world. It's a remarkably common trap to use a singular noun here, like saying city instead of cities. But just remember, you are always selecting one out of a larger group of many. And hey, superlatives aren't just for first place either. You can be highly specific with your emphasis by dropping in the second or the third right before your superlative. Saying, he is the second tallest player on the team gives an exact, unquestionable rank. Okay, moving right along to level 2, connecting to life experiences, using superlatives and the present perfect. The grammatical tool we're using here pairs your superlative with the present perfect tense. So that's have or has plus a past participle alongside the word ever. What this does is take a simple observation and stretch it across the timeline of your entire existence. Treat this next example like a glowing 5-star restaurant review. This is the most delicious food I've ever tasted. It brilliantly illustrates how you can compress an entire lifetime of eating into one ultimate compliment. This structure works incredibly well with different emotions, too. Saying, that was the scariest movie we have ever seen, vividly expresses that out of literally all the films you've watched in your entire life, this specific one holds the absolute top spot for terror. And here we see how applying this tense instantly elevates a basic compliment into the highest possible praise of someone's intellect. He is the smartest person she has ever met. The combination of smartest and has ever met leaves absolutely no room for doubt about her admiration. All right, let's step up to level 3, the art of omission, or basically dropping the noun for conversational efficiency. This brings up a fascinating question about efficiency, or what I like to playfully call the native art of being intelligently lazy. When exactly are we allowed to just drop the noun entirely from our superlative sentences? Because, let's be honest, doing it at the wrong time just creates a confusing mess. Well, our source material gives us the definitive rule. Advanced speakers can drop the noun after the superlative adjective, but only if the context is absolutely 100% clear. The whole goal here is to improve your flow and speed without sacrificing clarity. Let's see how this builds in practice. Step 1. You explicitly establish the context. For instance, we have 3 cars. Then, in step 2, you can just say, the red one is the fastest. You completely omit the word car at the end, and your listener's brain just automatically fills in the blank for you. If we compare 2 variations of a sentence, the difference is huge. Instead of repeating yourself by saying all the students did well, but Maria was the best student, you just say all the students did well, but Maria was the best. Dropping that repetitive second student makes your communication far punchier and just so much more natural. It sounds incredibly confident and effortless. Finally, we have made it to level 4, comparing actions with adverbs, basically using superlatives for verbs. Just like regular comparatives, superlatives can effectively modify verbs to highlight who executed an action to the absolute highest degree within a specific group. So we aren't looking at who is the tallest anymore, we're looking at who ran the fastest. It's all about the action. Now, there are two specific rules you need in your toolkit for modifying actions: the standard rule for adverbs ending in ly, and a few crucial exceptions you absolutely have to memorize. For your standard adverbs ending in ly, simply use the phrase the most right before the adverb. A perfect example is, of all the speakers, she spoke the most eloquently. The action of speaking is what's being evaluated at the very highest level here. But, and this is a big but, you absolutely must watch out for the structural exceptions. Words like fast, hard, late, and early uniquely take the est suffix instead of the most. So, he works the hardest out of everyone in the office is totally correct. Saying he works the most hard is a common pitfall. But hey, now you know to avoid it. To wrap things up, I want you to immediately apply two of the advanced rules we just mastered. Ask yourself, what is by far the best decision you've ever made? Notice that? You have the extreme emphasis of by far paired perfectly with the life experience structure of have ever made. Think about your answer to that and start dropping these techniques into your own daily conversations. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.